Apologies for not seeing you at my home. I wanted to see the lie of the land, so to speak, before involving my wife. She's still quite raw. You mentioned discrepancies in my daughter's case.
Concerning her mental health, you stated at the inquest she had no previous history of it?
None, which is why it came as such a shock.
You also testified in the weeks prior to her death, aside from a few phone calls, your only contact with her was when you met her in town for a coffee, where you said she seemed on edge.
Even more so when Matthew turned up out of the blue.
Tell him how it was, like he knew he'd find me there, Dad. The lack of contact with you and her mother for so long, was that like her?
Evelyn said they probably wanted some alone time to let them be.
Oh, Mum.
Shortly after her death, Matthew came to see us. He told us she'd been depressed for weeks, barely even got out of bed some days. He'd begged her to tell us what was going on, but she didn't want to worry us. He tried to persuade her to get help. Apparently she refused that too. Then he cried, and Evelyn comforted him. This was barely 24 hours after she had lost her only child. It put me in mind of a documentary I once saw. Some American actress was interviewing parents of children who'd been massacred in a school shooting. She cried too. It ended with them comforting her.
You had concerns about Dr. Goodson.
Just an instinct that there's something hidden about him.
Did you tell the investigating team of your reservations about him?
Time has a habit of lifting the scales from one's eyes. This review of her case, does it mean there's some doubt about the verdict?
A suicide verdict means the coroner must be satisfied beyond all reasonable doubt that the deceased intended to end their life. In Lisa's case, Dr. Goodson's testimony about her mental health played a significant part in that. It follows that any evidence which disproves his account could be grounds to challenge the verdict. In that event, sir, it would be helpful to know if you'd support such a challenge.
Definitely.
And your wife?
I'll talk to her.